John Callahan, I'd like to say thank you for a record-setting 2023. So let's start off 2024 with the bang. They've got huge trade-in bonuses and finance bonusing happening right now on our new inventory at Koppel. Get up to $8,500 off select new models at Koppel. So if you're shopping for a new GM product, go to our website at koppelcars.com. You won't believe the discounts. Make that short money-saving drive down 144th Street. You'll be glad you did. Must have trade and finance with approved credit. Stock number G207684.
Are you looking for a new spot to relax and unwind? The Post, located on the south side of the Telegraph District on the corner of 20th and N Street, is perfect for a group hangout or a relaxing evening. The Post has plenty of exciting events open to the public, like Whiskey Wednesday and poker tournaments on Sundays. Looking for a spot for a private event? Ask them about their indoor patio. The Post, located at 20th and N Street in Lincoln.
Liberty Law Group is committed to the defense of liberty for those accused and the pursuit of justice for those injured. Liberty Law Group's relentless trial attorneys specialize in criminal defense and personal injury law. Navigating the legal system can be stressful, overwhelming, and full of uncertainty. We believe in treating every client with respect, compassion, and understanding. When you're in need of legal assistance, trust Liberty Law Group to fight for you. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. That's 877-42-LIBERTY.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello, welcome into the Daily Nebraskan show on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. I'm Ben Rose, one of the sports writers at the Daily Nebraskan, UNL's only independent student newspaper. To my left is one of the assistant sports editors at the Daily Nebraskan, Anthony Rubik. Anthony, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. It was a busy day, but I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, it's good. How was classes today? I only had one class, so I had two.
I had two classes, so not the busiest day on my schedule, but had a lot of homework to catch up on. 222, man. Not looking forward to Parasol, but it was able to get a module done today.
That's good. I just have sports data with Matt Waite, and he's awesome. So
nice.
But with that, we're going to start things off with the power rankings. Anthony does a weekly power rankings for Big Ten men's basketball. Where's Nebraska going to be on the list? We're going to find out right now. We're going to go top. We're going to go bottom to top because, we don't want to spoil number one, even though we kind of all know what it might be, but,
who knows?
It
might be a
actually could
shakeup.
flip. Yeah. So it usually posts on Friday, correct? Friday morning. But you guys are getting a little bit sneak peek on the power rankings. Anthony, let's start us off. Who do you got at the very, very bottom of the totem pole?
Yeah. First off, just make sure you check out my actual Big Ten rankings on Friday. I'll go more in depth on these picks.
DailyNebraskan.com.
Exactly. It's going to be pretty simple back at the bottom. It's Michigan again, same as last week, same as last month, really. Just again, another bad week for them. Didn't get a win. Lost to Michigan State, their rival. Hurts even more for sure. But they have a chance to get a win against the number 13 team in my rankings, Rutgers. Spoiler alert there, but they play Rutgers on Saturday. Going forward after that, it gets very tough for Michigan. They have a 6-game stretch against maybe the 6 best teams in the Big Ten. They're playing Purdue. They're playing Northwestern, Wisconsin, Nebraska, Illinois. It's going to be rough for them.
Yeah. I mean, not surprised you're bottom two, especially Michigan. Michigan is just record-wise the worst team in the Big Ten. Which is kind of weird because Michigan always seems to find itself at the top, football and basketball. Maybe because football finally got a national championship, Michigan basketball just had to take a huge step back.
Oh, yeah.
It's just
soul for soul.
The sports gods just saying, hey, your football team was really good. Maybe your basketball team needs to, take a break. But yeah, that was pretty expected.
Yeah, so number 13 is Rutgers. They play tonight against Penn State. There was 2 Big Ten games on tonight. There was Northwestern and Purdue, which was a great game, exciting game, went to overtime. We'll talk about that one more later. Rutgers and Penn State played. It wasn't the prettiest of games. Penn State won 61-46. Rutgers was at home. They were at the rack, only put up 46 points, shot 1 of 17 from 3.
That's not very good.
Yeah. Watching this game makes me even more mad about the Nebraska loss to them a couple weeks back.
That
100% their worst loss of the year.
The Rutgers, yeah. I mean, that and Maryland are probably the top two. I would definitely say Rutgers, though. That was like their worst performance of the year. Nebraska gave up 25 offensive rebounds. See, I don't even have to look at the stat. That's just ingrained in my brain, 25. And then I don't even remember the amount of turnovers, but it was an ungodly amount. So it was, that was most definitely the ugliest game Nebraska's had all year. And Rutgers just isn't very good.
Yeah. And to add even more salt to the wound, Kanye Clary, Penn State's leading scorer, wasn't even playing. He was out for this game. So you only put up 46 points in a loss to a team without their leading scorer at home. You just can't. You can't get any worse than that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Next up at number 12, this is a slight change from last week. Even though it wasn't pretty, I actually have Penn State at number 11, and Ohio State is now number 12. Just in a complete free fall. I mean, another rough week for them.
Yeah. Lost 3 straight.
Yep. 3 straight losses. Just isn't looking pretty. Isn't looking like it's going to get any better from here on out. And it's hard to see with this team as they started the year off great. They were projected to be a tournament team, or at least be one of the teams in consideration for that. And they just have absolutely fallen off pretty much since it became 2024. Still looking for a road win since January 1st, 2023. I honestly don't know if they're going to get it.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly like Big Ten basketball, while it's been kind of a bloodbath in the middle, it's honestly kind of refreshing to see Michigan and Ohio State towards the bottom of the Big Ten rankings. Like, even just record-wise, it's just, like, I don't mind seeing those two teams at the bottom. Those have just historically been the two most dominant over the past few years, so I don't mind it.
Next up, I got... let me check. Hold on. I got Indiana at the 10. They were 9 last week, so they dropped down 1. They had a win the other night. They had a win against Iowa. Sorry about that. Had to recheck. But it came at a cost. They lost 2 starters in this game. Malik Renew and Xavier Johnson both left the game with injuries. So that was a tough break for them. Was kind of a cool story, though. They have a guy, Anthony Leal, a senior guard. He scored 13 points off the bench with those 2 players out. He had 14 points on the season going into that night. So that was really cool. He was a Mr. Indiana player in high school, just from Bloomington, Indiana. Lives, breathes Hoosiers. So that was cool seeing him have his moment. But even with the win they had the other day, it's not looking good, especially if Renew and Johnson are out for games going forward. And yeah, just another team that's kind of in limbo. They're really not going to be competing at all for any postseason play. So,
I mean, you never know. Because if you look at the conference records, Indiana has the same conference record as Nebraska.
It's true.
Which is just really it's just really weird to see. Obviously, Nebraska has a better overall record. I'm surprised Penn State's above them, but I'm assuming that's your next team.
Penn State was my 11.
Oh, that was your 11?
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed that. All right.
My number 9 is Minnesota.
All
Again,
right.
kind of a team you can really toss up with Indiana. They were on a 4-game losing streak, but then they ended up picking up a win against Penn State on the road. So I think that road win kind of moves them up.
Yeah.
And again, just another team. They're 4-5 in conference play. So up there with that middle of the pack, with those teams that could really go on a run at any moment. They went through a rough stretch. Let's see how they play going forward.
I mean, if I'm looking at Minnesota, Nebraska should be ahead of them, but Minnesota has 2 conference road wins. How many does Nebraska have?
0.
Yeah, 0-5 conference play on the road. It's just been rough for Nebraska on the road, but we'll touch on that when we get to Nebraska in your rankings. But yeah, Minnesota. Last week when we did the show, we had a texter say that Minnesota should have been a lot higher. They kind of jumped up a little bit in your rankings. So
moved up 2 spots.
I think 8 is my perfect spot for Minnesota, just middle of the pack Big Ten team.
Yeah, coming up next at 8 is Iowa. They had a tough week, or not really tough week. They split. They went 1-1. It was tough matchups with them both coming on the road. They were able to get a win against Michigan before losing to Indiana. But overall, it was a solid week for Iowa. Peyton Sandfort had a great week, scoring 26 points in both games. Tony Perkins scored 24 points against Michigan, 22 points against Indiana. So those two guys are clearly their top players. They have been all year. And it really just was no one else that kind of stepped up for them, especially in the loss to Indiana. Owen Freeman, he's an inconsistent player. He can be really hot, but he also struggles with fouls.
Yeah.
That kept him out for a lot of the Indiana game. He was sitting on the bench with 4 fouls, which kind of let Indiana kind of pull away with that win. But yeah, I mean, Iowa, they have a slim chance right now of making the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Joe Lenardi from ESPN, when he releases his like bracketology things, he has Iowa as someone who's being considered, but they're way far out of the picture right now.
I'd be surprised if they made it. I mean, honestly, it's, and again, that's just another team that's just really floundered this year that Nebraska lost to on the road.
Yep.
Who you got next?
Next at number 7, I got Michigan State.
All right.
It's very, we'll talk about Nebraska in a moment, but it's very hard to rank Nebraska because going from the time I did my last rankings, they only played the Maryland game. The deadline to get this story in is 3 p.m. on Thursday, meaning that I can't write about the Nebraska-Wisconsin game tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because obviously that would drastically shift their spot in the rankings. So right now I have them ahead of Michigan State, and they will be ahead of Michigan State when this rankings comes out. Depending on tomorrow, we'll see if they're like that. But
a loss against Wisconsin probably shouldn't put them below Michigan State, but you'd have to see. Who you got next?
Next, I got Nebraska.
All right.
I think obviously it was a rough game against Maryland, which it kind of leaves me this thing with Nebraska and Michigan State. Michigan State beats all the teams that they're expected to beat in the Big Ten. And when they play against these teams like Nebraska, like Purdue, Illinois, kind of the best of the league, they fall to them. Nebraska, I feel like, is kind of the other way. I mean, granted, it is whoever's at home and whoever's on the road. That's more of the problem there. But Nebraska, I have them over Michigan State right now. Obviously, a very uninspired performance against Maryland. Against Wisconsin tomorrow at home, I would expect a better outcome. I wouldn't say they're 100% going to beat Wisconsin.
No.
But they should be playing better with the home crowd, with PBA having their back. So right now, I have them at number 6.
Yeah, I mean, after that poor performance against Maryland, it's not hard to see. Nebraska just one of 3 Big Ten teams without a conference road win, and the other 2 teams are Ohio State and Rutgers. I mean, it's just, and then again, Northwestern only has 1, Indiana only has 1, Michigan State also just has 1. So there's a lot with just 1, but it's just like Nebraska just can't get over the hump there. I mean, that's really just been what it is. I mean, every road game, it's just been really tough outside of the Kansas State win early in the season. Again, that seems like, eons ago, that Kansas State game. I honestly don't even remember it that much. I do remember though, it was a strong win for them. Really good performance. Kansas State isn't as good this year as they were last year, obviously, but
still a good win though.
Yeah, it was a good win, but I mean, they just got to get it done on the road against the Big Ten team. And coming up next is Wisconsin at home. Like I said yesterday, I feel pretty decently about it because they're at home. The only home loss they have is against Creighton. That's a team that just shot lights out, and Nebraska couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. I expect Nebraska to play. I expect it to be a really close game. And I think if Nebraska's going to win, Casey Tominaga is going to have to get out of this swamp he's in because he's had 2 straight duds. They can't afford him to have 3.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, when looking back at the first Wisconsin game on the road, Nebraska really didn't play a bad game offensively at all. It was just the defense that was a struggle. Obviously, Wisconsin shot 50% from 3, so that didn't help them at all either. So they're going to have to pick up that tomorrow. And again, looking at the 1 loss at home this year, it was to a Creighton team that kind of played a similar game to Wisconsin. They just shot the ball lights out.
Yeah.
Nebraska couldn't defend the kickouts good enough, fast enough, led to many open threes. So they'll definitely have to improve on that aspect.
Yeah. I mean, this Wisconsin game coming up is big because, I mean, if they don't beat Wisconsin here, that Purdue win is feeling more and more fluky, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Because after Purdue, what's Nebraska's next best win? Northwestern?
Yeah, probably.
I mean,
Michigan State.
no.
Yeah.
That was again. I mean, I kind of want to count the Creighton game out. That was like really early in the season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Nebraska's a different team. Creighton's a different team from then. But I mean, if you just looking at it, Nebraska just hasn't gotten that many top resume wins, which is why this next 3-game stretch is pretty important if you're wanting to be walked into the tournament before the Big Ten tournament. Nebraska's gonna have to get at least 2 of these wins. So that yesterday, I think if Nebraska doesn't want to have to rely on a run in the Big Ten tournament, they're gonna have to get 2 of these wins. These next 3, because after these next 3 games, there's just no games left to build your resume.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a tough stretch, but it's going to be a stretch that Nebraska really needs to kind of boost their resume for the Big Ten tournament, for the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
It's really the biggest 3 games of the year, I think, going up.
Yeah. All right. Who do you have right above Nebraska?
All right. This might be a little controversial, but I got Maryland at number 5. I am very high on the Terrapins right now. They're obviously coming off a big win against Nebraska. They have won 4 out of their last 6 games, with the 2 losses being by a combined 5 points.
Yeah.
I know if the season ended today, is Maryland an NCAA tournament team? No. Is Nebraska and Michigan State NCAA tournament teams? Yes.
I mean, they would need if the season would end now today and they go into the Big Ten tournament, they need a run.
Yeah.
To
But
make the tournament.
I do these power rankings not based on how they're going to be at the end of the year. I base it on who is hot. And Maryland might be the hottest team in the whole Big Ten.
That's a statement. I mean, Purdue is on a 6-game winning streak.
I mean, obviously there's Purdue, but I think with Maryland, obviously they had a rough start to the year, but they are really hitting their stride right now. Jameer Young, Julian Reese, they hit 11 3-pointers against Nebraska after being one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the country.
Yeah.
Let's see if they keep that up. Obviously, that would be if they're able to go forward shooting like that, they could really be a problem in the Big Ten. I'm not saying they will. Obviously, that was this game right now is kind of just an outlier. But going forward, just watch out for this Maryland team.
Maryland's a team that has a really strong defense, and defense will win you games. A lot of Nebraska relies on 3-point shooting, which can lead to inconsistent play. You just know what you're going to get out of Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of the crazy 3-point shooting night they had against Nebraska, this is a team that they're not going to shoot it great, but they're not going to wet. Their defense is not going to fold. Their defense is going to be really strong, and that's why they're close in every game, because their defense keeps them in games. In my opinion, I kind of want to say that I feel like Maryland's kind of like Iowa football. That if I was going to give that, I feel like Maryland's like the Iowa football of the Big Ten men's basketball teams. If I was going to give a reference, that's what it'd be.
I could see that for this year. Sure.
So we're in top 4 now, correct?
Yep.
Who do you got 4?
All right. Number 4. Honestly, I might switch this one in 3 in the 12 hours I'll have to make my final edits tomorrow. But right now at number 4, I have Northwestern.
All right.
Obviously, going back to the Nebraska loss a few weeks ago, that was a game that Northwestern could have very well have won, especially with how Nebraska played down the stretch that game. 18 turnovers, didn't score for a hefty period in the second half, led Northwestern back into the game. I think they cut the lead to 1, but were never able to take that lead. Since then, they've been really good. Obviously, tonight, a 105-96 overtime loss to Purdue.
Yeah.
Almost upset them again. And boy, Chris Collins was livid at the end of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at this is insane. Purdue shot 46 free throws.
That's a lot.
Northwestern shot 8.
This is kind of reminding me of like the Lakers drama, with the free throws.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's saying the Lakers get way too many free throws. That's what that reminds me of. But
Yeah, it was just a wild game. The score looks bigger than it was at the end because Chris Collins got a technical foul, got ejected in the last second of the game. Boo Boo, he got a technical foul. So Indiana really just got 4 free points at the end there. So it was really 101 to 96. But I think just taking a team like that to the wire on the road, obviously with the ginormous free throw difference, really shows a lot about this team. And again, this is a Northwestern. They've been good in years past. And also kind of bringing hope into Nebraska. Northwestern is still playing at this level right now. And you mentioned it earlier. They've only won 1 game on the road, 1 conference game.
Yeah.
I think if Nebraska really just gets that one, it would do so much for their confidence. Obviously, Northwestern last week after the Nebraska game pretty much I pretty much had them flipped. Yep, I had Nebraska at 4 last week, Maryland at 6. So it was just a great rebound this team has had. They beat Ohio State easily earlier in the week as well. So it was just, they're playing some really good basketball at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, even with that almost win against Purdue, I still feel like that's the right decision having Northwestern not in the top 3 because I feel like the top 3 teams are pretty obvious.
Yeah.
It's the 3 teams in the AP top 25 poll.
Yep.
Number 3, I'm assuming you got Illinois.
Yep, I got Illinois. Again, just kind of bounce back week. Obviously, they lost to Northwestern last week, so it was a big game. They beat Indiana, and then Terrence Shannon Jr., coming back from suspension, had his best game against Ohio State. He had 23 points. It seems like he is shaking off kind of that rust from the suspension he had. And it looks like Illinois is back up there with just the elite teams in the Big Ten. So really don't have much more to say after that. It was relatively easy week for them. Didn't play much competition, but they were able to get the job done.
Yeah. I mean, Illinois is the first road game of this next 3-game stretch for Nebraska after they play Wisconsin. I feel like that Illinois road game is probably the toughest over these next 3 games, probably the toughest stuff on the schedule. Illinois, yeah, they're on a 2-game winning streak. Northwestern's maybe a little bit hotter, even though, they lost to Purdue. They might be a little bit more hotter of a team, but I still feel like Illinois overall is probably the better team. That's going to be a really tough game on the road for Nebraska against Illinois. That's a good Illinois team.
Yeah.
Number 2,
I got Wisconsin. Again, this is a team they only played 1 game against Michigan State from the time of these rankings. Able to win that game. AJ Storr with 28 points. He's a transfer from St. John's, sophomore. He's really kind of stepped up as kind of the guy for Wisconsin. I think they're a very well-rounded team. They don't have any star player that stands out too much above the rest, but AJ Storr's just been really solid for them, averaging around 15 points a game. He's been there. You can expect him to have a good game every single night.
We have a YouTube comment saying Northwestern's the only Division I team in the last 25 seasons to score 95 points, shoot 55% or better, and dish out 20 assists and have fewer than 10 turnovers, but still lose.
That is crazy.
I mean,
it was such a great game they played tonight.
Yeah. Thank you, Danny, for that. Appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, it's D1 teams have been 763-0 over that span.
Jeez.
I mean, that's great. I mean, that's what I said. A game like, that Purdue and Northwestern game, I feel like that win really doesn't help Purdue much, but that shows that Northwestern can hang with anybody.
Yeah, it shows that they're legit, for sure.
Yeah. So going back to Wisconsin, Nebraska plays Wisconsin next. If Nebraska wins this game, okay, Wisconsin currently in the number six ranked team in the nation, how much would that boost Nebraska in your rankings, do you think? If you were to give a guess.
It'll definitely give them a boost. I think, again, obviously Wisconsin, 6th in the country. This would be Nebraska's 2nd top 10 win on the year. Definitely would have them over Maryland. Maybe Northwestern. Again, we'll have to see how the other games play out that week. But it would definitely move them back in the top 5. It would definitely make me feel more confident about them going forward.
Yeah. I mean, if they do pull it off and beat Wisconsin, I'm not going to know what to think of this team going into March. I'm just not. This is like Nebraska is going to be a team that's like they could easily lose round 1 or they can make the Sweet 16. It's just like I don't know what to expect from this team. I'm kind of getting a feel, when they're home, they play really good. When they're on the road, they don't. But, when they go in NCAA tournaments, neutral, it's just like, what team are we going to see?
I
Is it
feel
going to be
like
half and half?
I think, honestly, look at the one neutral site game Nebraska played this year. They won. It was in like the Sanford Pentagon, not that far away. A bunch of Husker fans traveled.
I have a question, though. Who'd they play?
Oregon State.
Okay, not a dominant
Quad 3 win.
Yeah, that's a blue blood team right there. Then again, I don't buy much into that neutral thing.
I will say though, especially if they are close, like within a couple states of Nebraska, they'll show out. Fans will show out for a March Madness game.
Yeah, it's not that. It's just that it's just not in PBA. I feel like it's just like a mental thing where it's like when they're not at PBA, it's just like completely different. I don't care if it's neutral or away. I feel like if they're just away from home, they're not going to play as good. It's just like I really feel like it is. I just feel like it's a mental thing that they just mentally they just can't get over the hump. I feel like at first, it was just like bad luck. They were just losing, and now it's in their head. They can't win on the road. Like that's in my opinion. But number 1. Obvious because we've said all the other teams. Purdue number 1 coming in your rankings.
I still got Purdue at number 1. They beat Rutgers 68-60. Kind of a close game, but that was a road game. Purdue tends to struggle on the road. And then obviously the game tonight was obviously overtime, probably too close to comfort for Purdue fans, but they still just had an amazing game from a bunch of different players. Obviously Zach Edey, 26 points, 12 rebounds, that was him against Rutgers. Zach Edey had 30 points and 15 rebounds against Northwestern, so even better. But to go with him, Braden Smith, 11 points, 16 assists. That ties the most in the Big Ten single game in the past 15 years.
That's crazy. 16.
And then you had guys like Lance Jones and Fletcher Lawyer really connect from deep. Lance Jones even had 26 points on his own. So again, just obviously a game that's kind of controversial with how the free throw battle turned out to be. But at the end of the day, a win is a win. This is a good Northwestern team that had already beaten Purdue earlier in the year in another overtime game. So it's definitely nice for the Boilermakers to kind of get their revenge on that.
Yeah, Purdue coming in number 1. I agree with that, but Wisconsin, they're really close. They're really close. If they beat Nebraska on the road, coming into PBA, if they beat Nebraska, again, a team apparently to some people that would win the national championship if PBA was the site for the NCAA tournament. I'm just saying, if Wisconsin comes in, beats Nebraska at PBA, I honestly would consider them to be above Purdue.
Also, the game Wisconsin plays after Nebraska is against Purdue. February 4th.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that.
They're going to be in West Lafayette, so it'll be a home game for the Boilermakers. But yeah, I think very well, especially if Wisconsin is able to beat Nebraska tomorrow. That game could definitely decide the number 1 spot next week.
If Wisconsin beats Nebraska at home, which is what's expected to happen, but if they actually do, because you have to play the game, I feel like they're above Purdue heading into that game, in my opinion. But we got to go to break because we're almost at 11:30. When we come back, we're gonna get Brandon Blue on to talk about the Husker women's basketball game. They beat Purdue at home. Good win for Nebraska. We're gonna have that and more coming up right after this break.
Husker fans, your Nebraska wrestling team is back at the Bob Devaney Sports Center for a Big Ten matchup on Sunday, February 4th against Illinois. The duel begins at 2 p.m., and the first 350 fans will receive a Nebraska wrestling pennant. For more information or to secure your tickets, visit huskers.com/tickets or call 402-472-3111. Again, that's huskers.com/tickets or call 402-472-3111.
If you're looking for a pre-owned tractor to upgrade your operation, you'll find a wide selection at your local Landmark Implement. We'll work with you to find the right equipment for your needs at a price that's right for you, all backed by Landmark's extensive parts and service network. During the month of January, choose from an 8-month interest waiver or a 3.9% fixed rate for up to 60 months on used 6, 7, 8, or 9 series tractors with approved credit. Visit landmarkimp.com to see our complete inventory or stop by your local Landmark location today and experience the Landmark difference.
'Tis the season to give the gift of good times. Save up to $3,500 on select models or receive promotional financing discounts on qualified vehicle purchases. With deals on KX Youth motorcycles and KFX Youth ATVs, TRX side-by-sides, and more, there's no shortage of savings and good times to be had by the whole crew. Don't miss the 'Tis the Season sales event. Visit Elway Power Sports of Lincoln today. Check them out at elwaypslincoln.com for more detail.
You never think cancer will happen to you. I smoked for over 40 years. My doctor recommended that I get annual lung cancer screening. They were able to catch my cancer at stage 1. It's never too late to quit. Even if you're still smoking, you need to ask your doctor about annual lung cancer screening. Just 30 minutes a year could save your life.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers, and if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Don't allow uninvited guests to take over your home. Trust Bats to Rats for a peaceful and rodent-free living space.
Golfing in 72 degrees and perfect conditions in Nebraska doesn't seem possible in the winter, but it is. Double Eagle Golf is your escape from the bone-chilling cold outside and a reason to keep your clubs out year-round. Book a bay with some friends for a weekend or come by for golf and happy hour on a weekday. Spring leagues begin in February. Get signed up today. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex at West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf.
If your home heating system is making strange noises or just doesn't work like it should, call your friends at Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. Sign up for Bryant's exclusive ESP service protection plan. You'll get twice annual complete and thorough service on all brands, and you'll never pay overtime charges on evenings, weekends, or holidays. Schedule your heating check today and ask about Bryant's ESP plan to save money. Call 467-1111 or go to BryantLincoln.com. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Hello, everybody. It's Charlie Stone, and here with me is Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I hear that new Honda manufacturing continues to go up, and you have new Hondas in stock now.
That's correct, Charlie. We have more than 40 new Hondas in stock right now. It's great that a customer can come in and buy a new Honda and drive it home that day. New Honda inventory keeps getting better each month.
Okay, then. How about used cars, Andy?
We have more than 100 pre-owned vehicles to choose from right now, and a lot of fresh trade-ins are coming in daily. We have just about every maker model you can imagine in any price range.
Thanks again, Andy. People love the selection and great service at Honda of Lincoln. Maybe it's time you come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Liberty Law Group is committed to the defense of your liberty and pursuit of your justice for those that have been injured. My name is Seth Morris, attorney with Liberty Law Group. If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, call 877-42-LIBERTY. Our relentless trial attorneys are committed to the highest quality legal representation. At Liberty Law Group, we will fight for you. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Again, that's 877-42-LIBERTY.
Are you in the market for a new garage door or need to repair your old one? It's wintertime, and that means snow, wind, and freezing temperatures, all things that can cause sticky locks and damage to your garage door. If you're experiencing any issues with your commercial or residential garage door during the winter months, call Cameron Hall and his team at Doors Plus. Don't be trapped outside in the cold because of a poorly maintained garage door. Call Doors Plus today at 402-590-5800 or visit them online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome back into the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Ben and Anthony still here with you. And now on the Owl VIP line, we have Brandon Blue, the Owl VIP line, brought to you by Owl Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with a local heart. Brandon, do we got you on the phone?
Yes, and I'm happy to be here. Hope you guys are having a great night, and I'm ready to talk about some Husker basketball.
Sounds great. Yeah, glad you stayed up with us. You know, love staying up. Weather finally better. Everything's looking up here in Nebraska. Nebraska women's team just got a win against Purdue. Solid home win, a much needed home win after, after the bad loss against Iowa. But first, before we get into that, Brandon, how has it just been covering this women's team so far this year and being on the women's basketball team beat?
I mean, it's been fun for sure. It's definitely a good group of girls because I think they have a good mix of veteran pieces, with Jazz Shelley, Alexis Markowski, but you also have a lot of their freshmen like Natalie Potts, who's been doing, amazing things for this team. It reminds me a lot of Alexis's freshman year. But I think it's a fun team because, obviously you have the downs, but you have a lot of ups. And I think it gets you kind of excited for what this team could be come the end of the season.
Yeah, definitely. So now going into the game, Nebraska handled Purdue quite well, won 68-54. The two main high scorers for Nebraska, as usual, Alexis Markowski and Jazz Shelley. They played the most minutes. Jazz Shelley had 36 minutes, Markowski 33. No one else had over 30. How has Shelley and Markowski been just, being the leaders on this team?
Yeah, I think that, as I talked about before, just their leadership has been important because they're kind of molding this next group for, when they're gone. But I think even tonight, them talking about how much they needed to provide the energy to withstand the run that came towards the end of the first half. It's kind of been a thing all season where, they'll get out to a big lead, but they can't really maintain it, because basketball is just a game of runs.
Yep.
But they talked about how much, they had to rally behind each other and, really come together so that way they could kind of stop, the reoccurring theme of blowing these leads and just have a solid all-around performance. And their leadership was pretty big tonight.
Yeah. Hey, Brandon, it's Anthony here. Obviously, Markowski had 14 points. He had it all in the first half, was scoreless in the second half. That was where kind of Darian White took over. She scored 13 of her 14 points in the second half. Obviously, White, a Montana State transfer. She has experience there. She was a great player there. She's a great player here. Kind of explain the impact she had on the team tonight.
I mean, one thing I like about her is that she's very defensive minded, and she's kind of your grit and grind player who's going to do all the little things that you need at the end of the day. And there was a point, especially at the end of the third quarter, where Purdue had scored like 6 unanswered. And I think some of the plays she made were kind of big in helping them stay in front because she had a bucket at the very end of the first half. And then she had like this nice little like hesitation. I think it was like a fake dribble handoff, so there's stuff about her that I think at the end of the day you just need, not just on like a team like this, but even on a championship team. The things that she does are very valuable.
Yeah, definitely. Nebraska's best quarter offensively was the third quarter. And like Anthony said, Markowski didn't score in the second half. What do you feel like was the thing that really got this team going in that third quarter?
I think it was really just the rebounding essentially, and they locked in defensively, because even though that was their highest scoring quarter, there was a point for like 3 minutes where there wasn't a bucket from either team. And I think they just got hot early, but they just locked in defensively. And then once that bucket did come later with like 3 minutes left, they were just able to build off of that. Potts she was also pretty big in that fourth quarter too. But also in that third quarter, she had talked about how she hadn't really gotten any rebounds, and she locked in on that aspect, and she realized that she needed to amp it up because that provides a boost of energy for everybody else.
Yeah, definitely. So Nebraska getting the home win against Purdue, 68-54. They play Rutgers at home on Saturday, but then after that, it's 3 road games over the next 4 after their next home game against Rutgers. So Nebraska's been a team that's struggled a little bit on the road. Kind of both Nebraska teams have. They're 3-4 on the road, so not too bad, but this will be a good opportunity for Nebraska to get over that hump, get over 500 on the road. How confident are you with this team they're going to have this road schedule coming up?
I mean, they're a team that I think they're really capable of it. The thing that it's going to come down to is, are they locked in? Are they consistent? Because I feel like we've seen so many points in the season where it's like, things are going well and then it just goes bad so quickly, just like with any Nebraska sport. But I think that at the end of the day, they are capable of it. It's just really going to depend on their mentality, their mindset, and we saw today the formula is just being tough, being gritty on the boards. Because even tonight, like, it wasn't really a good offensive night. Their percentage-wise, I don't think they shot the 3 ball that well. It was like 30% somewhere in there. So, or 20%, my bad. But I think that, just having something like rebounding where you can kind of just stay locked in and have that be your constant, I think that can help them get through the hump, sorry.
Yeah, just looking back at the stats, it was a really good game for Kendall Moriarty off the bench. She had 11 points, 3 of 4 shooting. She only played 16 minutes as well. So do you see her as kind of like this X factor playing going forward, or do you see any other players on Nebraska that either might have had a good night tonight or kind of struggled, but you think is just one of those really underrated players that could be really big for them down the stretch?
I mean, I know tonight, this was her career high, I believe, but she matched it. And she's a player who's really good defensively. But I think when she's having tonight, like nights like tonight, where she can produce offensively, I think that does really help her in the long term. And if we kind of keep seeing that, I think that will make her, more of a valuable asset on the floor. But another player who I could see something happening with is Jessica Petrie, just because she's another freshman. But, she got 6 rebounds today, and I think she's kind of an underrated playmaker on this team, just based off of some of the things I saw tonight and seen in the past. So she's a player who I feel like, we could potentially, it really just depends on the matchup for the night and what Coach Williams wants out there, but she's a player who I wouldn't be surprised to, see get a little bit more time as well.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you again, Brandon, for calling in on the Owl VIP line. We're going to have to go to break soon, but make sure to check out Brandon's game recap if you want to hear more about the game. DailyNebraskan.com. It's probably the featured one of the top articles on the page. Yep. So make sure to go read that if you want to know more about the game. But thank you, Brandon, for joining. Really appreciate you.
Thanks for covering the game tonight, Brandon.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
That was Brandon Blue on the Owl VIP line. Again, Nebraska women's team gets the win over Purdue at home, 68-54. We're going to throw it to break, and when we come back, we're going to get some NBA talk coming in, and specifically jersey sales, because I found it really interesting when I saw the other day the top 15 jersey sales for NBA. But we're going to get that in the next segment. You're listening to the Dan Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
In a world where quality tools make the dream work, let Sunbelt Rentals be your unseen team member. Shine bright with our top-notch equipment, dependable for any project size. Witness the difference with tool rental in Lincoln, Nebraska. It's more than just a tool, it's your companion for the perfect job. With Sunbelt Rentals, you're never alone in your project journey. Brighter tasks, better results. Sunbelt Rentals, tools that empower you.
Husker fans, your Nebraska wrestling team is back at the Bob Devaney Sports Center for a Big Ten matchup on Sunday, February 4th against Illinois. The duel begins at 2 p.m., and the first 350 fans will receive a Nebraska wrestling pennant. For more information or to secure your tickets, visit huskers.com/tickets or call 402-472-3111. Again, that's huskers.com/tickets or call 402-472-3111.
Are you looking for a new spot to relax and unwind? The Post, located on the south side of the Telegraph District on the corner of 20th and N Street, is perfect for a group hangout or a relaxing evening. The Post has plenty of exciting events open to the public, like Whiskey Wednesday and poker tournaments on Sundays. Looking for a spot for a private event? Ask them about their indoor patio. The Post, located at 20th and N Street in Lincoln.
Junior Achievement at Lincoln inspires and prepares today's young dreamers to be tomorrow's goal breakers, leaders, and things we haven't even imagined yet. Help more kids while having a great time at the JA Bowl-a-thon. Sign your team up and raise money to ensure the educational programs focused on financial literacy, career readiness, and entrepreneurship are always free to thousands of students. The JA Bowl-a-thon is February 16th and 17th at Parkway Lanes and Hollywood Bowl. Register at lincoln.ja.org.
If your home heating system is making strange noises or just doesn't work like it should, call your friends at Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. Sign up for Bryant's exclusive ESP service protection plan. You'll get twice annual complete and thorough service on all brands, and you'll never pay overtime charges on evenings, weekends, or holidays. Schedule your heating check today and ask about Bryant's ESP plan to save money. Call 467-1111 or go to BryantLincoln.com. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Babe, pack your bags. We're going to Vegas.
Vegas?
We just got the estimate from the wedding caterer, and we're going to have to elope.
Actually, Members Owned Credit Union is offering no-fee home equity lines of credit. We can borrow what we need with equity from the house.
Wait, so we can keep the bacon-wrapped dates for the cocktail hour?
We can keep the bacon-wrapped dates. From wedding bells to trekking the globe and everything in between, capture your dreams your way with a no-fee Members Owned Credit Union home equity line of credit. Learn more at membersownedheloc.org. Limitations may apply. Equal housing lender.
Golfing in 72 degrees and perfect conditions in Nebraska doesn't seem possible in the winter, but it is. Double Eagle Golf is your escape from the bone-chilling cold outside and a reason to keep your clubs out year-round. Book a bay with some friends for a weekend or come by for golf and happy hour on a weekday. Spring leagues begin in February. Get signed up today. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex at West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf.
Healing the heart takes heart. Our dedicated team of cardiac experts is here for you with breakthrough treatments for serious conditions and expert advice for living longer with a healthier heart. We bring healing care to our community with over 90 cardiology specialists and subspecialists and more than 50 locations across Nebraska, southwest Iowa, and northern Kansas. Find out how we heal hearts with heart, starting with yours at chihealth.com/heart.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello, and welcome into the final segment of the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Ben and Anthony still here with you for at least a few more minutes. We're going to have to be out of here pretty soon, but before we go, I want to touch just a little bit on the NBA jersey sales. So NBA.com released it. It's like halfway point through the NBA season. They released their sales. Okay. No one name surprises me. Some people might be surprised that Victor Wembanyama is number 4. But then again, This is like the highest touted rookie prospect since Zion. So it's not surprising to see him in the top 5. The name that surprises me that he's this high is Tyrese Maxey. Number 9. Tyrese Maxey's number 9 on the jersey sales. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who I feel like is one of like the most liked NBA players in the league, in my opinion. Like one of the rising star in this league on the Thunder. He's not even on the list. There's no Shai.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Maxey is having a great year. 25 points a game. Probably will likely be named an all-star reserve tomorrow, but I also thought that was very surprising, especially because he's number 9 on the top 15. Joel Embiid is number 12.
Yeah.
His teammate.
How is he above Joel?
It's very shocking seeing this. And then also like Nikola Jokic is number 14. Those are probably the top 2 in the MVP race and have
like every year.
Yeah, they've been dominating the league the last 3 to 4 years. And they're in the top 15, but not top 10. So that was very surprising.
And another thing that this shows is, once again, the face of the NBA is and will be for the foreseeable future Steph Curry. Like he's just always on top of the jersey sales.
Yeah.
Like he has completely changed the game. And I mean, this is just one thing that shows is how immensely popular Curry is, even on a struggling Warriors team. Not his fault, by the way. Watch any Warriors game. It's not his fault. But on a struggling Warriors team, he's still number 1.
Yeah, obviously he's going to go down as one of the most influential players in NBA history. And then also looking at number 3 is LeBron James. Again, another player that's just will always have this fan base, as he should. Again, Lakers might not be having the best year ever. Again, not his fault. And kind of sandwiched between them is Jason Tatum at number 2. That kind of surprised me a little bit.
Not to me. I think he's being seen as like the next KD, which is just really weird because he chokes in game 7s at the playoffs, lost to the Heat. Like I'm sorry, I'm a salty Heat fan, so I don't like the Celtics, but it doesn't surprise me that he's number 2. Boston's probably the number 1 sports market for NBA. Like it's the Celtics.
Yeah. Then, you got rounding out the top 5, you got Wembanyama, you got Giannis, Luka Doncic at number 6.
I'm a little surprised he wasn't in the top 5.
Me too, I think.
Because I feel like Luka's like, for whatever we want to say about Jason Tatum, Luka's the next face of the NBA, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I feel like when it's all said and done, his name is going to be up there with like, I feel like all-time greats. Like I feel like when he's said and done, he's going to have to get a championship, obviously, in his time with Dallas. if this is going to happen. But I just feel like from a talent perspective, he could easily be like a top 20, top 25 player of all time. Yeah. And he's just so young. He just is so immensely talented when he has the ball in his hand. I'm surprised that number 6 is still really high on this list, but
yeah, obviously, one of the best players in the league, scored 73 points the other night against the Atlanta Hawks, my favorite team.
It's okay.
We traded him on draft night. I still defend that trade. I'm a big Trae Young believer. Little disappointed Trae Young didn't crack this top 15 for top selling jerseys, but
he's one of the most hated NBA players. Come on.
Yeah, he's overhated, I think.
Maybe, but he is.
I think he's having good years. You'll point out that, he's horrible on defense. He's getting better. Is he a good defensive player? No, but he's improving. You talk about his efficiency. He started the year shooting really bad. He was ice cold at the start of the year, but since then, he is ice tray. Yep. But since then, he has improved a lot. And it stinks with Atlanta, with how their season is going. The DeJounte Murray trade is really blown up in their face. But yeah, I still have hope.
I would give a moment of silence, but I just started the outro music, so you don't get a moment of silence. With that, we're going to wrap up the Daily Nebraskan show. Thank you to everyone who tuned in tonight. Tomorrow, it's going to be right after the men's basketball game against Wisconsin. We're going to see, because either we're going to have a lot of eager Husker fans on the text line, or it's going to be dead silent, and that means another Husker loss. But until then, me and Anthony are out of here. We're going to be right back here tomorrow, 11 to 12. Don't miss it. Bye.
Golfing in 72 degrees and perfect conditions in Nebraska doesn't seem possible in the winter, but it is. Double Eagle Golf is your escape from the bone-chilling cold outside and a reason to keep your clubs out year-round. Book a bay with some friends for a weekend or come by for golf and happy hour on a weekday. Spring leagues begin in February. Get signed up today. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex at West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf.
24/7 threat monitoring, expert tech support, streamlined communications. Allo has a solution for that. Protect your business with Allo Business. Comprehensive firewall security, Microsoft Teams voice-integrated communications, cybersecurity and IT support managed by experts. From productivity to peace of mind, Allo has a solution for that. Allo means business. Protect your business by visiting allofiber.com/business.
Unearth the secret to long-lasting tires at Tread's Central Tire Pros, a league apart in commitment, service, and expertise. This isn't just about rubber meeting the road, but trust, safety, and surety converging in perfect harmony. This is where expectations are exceeded every time.